It's time for another book day, and you guys love the last book day that I did, and I also am going to pack a few books just to take with me on vacation because I'm going out of town this weekend, so I want to grab those. I'm going to read Outdrawn by Deanna Gray. This is Sapphic Romance. Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham, and Next of Kin by Kia Abdullah. Also gonna bring Keeping 13 because I started this during the 24-hour reading challenge and never finished it, and then I'm gonna bring Demon's Dream by, who's this by? L. Kaysen, is that? Yeah, L. Kaysen. I am only 20 pages into that book. It's really good so far, but because it's so thick, it's been so daunting, and I feel like thick books are always daunting to me because I'm like, what if I don't like it? Then I have this like long trek to like finish the book. So I don't normally read books that are like 800 pages because I've never DNF'd books, but both of these are really good so far, so I really want to get into them this weekend. These are the books I'm going to put into the free library. I haven't really like decided why I'm putting these in here. I just literally picked them off my shelf, and like the way that I decide to unhaul books is I will look through my shelf and I'll see the books that I am not like really reaching for, and if I'm not really reaching for it, I'm probably never gonna get to it because there's always so many good books coming out that I'm actually excited to read. So Lucky Hit by Hannah Cohen, and oh my gosh, Exit, Pursued by a Bear, E.K. Johnson. I think that this is a book by a Black author and it's about a dancer. And then Policing the Black Man by Angela J. Davis. I am trying to add in lots of different types of genres into the free libraries because I used to just add like pretty much one type, like just romance only, but I've been trying to add in a little bit of everything. Like Twilight is kind of giving fantasy vibes, not true fantasy, but like close enough. Thrive by Ariana Huffington. More Than Enough by Elaine Welteroth. Those are both biographies. Love in Tandem by Becca Kinzer. Friends Don't Fall in Love by Erin Hahn. And this book right here I actually saw at the library, so if I do end up like wanting to read it, I can always grab it from there. Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker. The Therapist by B.A. Paris. This is a thriller. And The Girl with the Stars in Her Eyes by Zoe Exelrod, and that is by a Black author. Little Secrets by Jennifer Hillier. That's a thriller. So many good books here. I feel like these books are true gems, and whoever gets them is going to be so excited. Looks Good on Paper by Kilby Blades. Love Lily by Belinda Mary. Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer. I've heard so many good things about this book, and I try to put in like popular book talk books too, because I want people who are reading to be able to really like, I don't know, be a part of the conversation, you know? Just because you don't have the money for the books doesn't mean that you shouldn't like be able to be a part of the bookish community and like all the book chats. First Down by Grace Riley. I know that this is in Barnes right now. I've heard great things about it. And Some Girls Do by Jennifer Dugan, and this is a queer read. So again, lots of different books, different authors, indie authors, popular book talk books, romances, thrillers, I don't know, fantasy vibes, like all the things, biographies, books for learning. So hopefully someone really enjoys these books. I'm getting ready to go get coffee with a friend, but while I was driving, it made me think of the last conversation that we had in the last bookish day, because I was so surprised by like you guys' thoughts on like everything that I shared. So if you missed the last video, pretty much I was sharing how I feel like my perspective on like motherhood and responsibility of like caring for those that you love has changed so much. And if you guys are new here, way back in the day when I was younger, I wanted like 10 kids. Like I wanted a big family. And then I feel like I got into like my late teen years, college, and I was like, absolutely not. Like I don't have the desire to have kids. Like the responsibility is too much. It's taking away from my life. And I feel like I've been very vocal about like just my feelings for just like living a life with no kids. And Brady and I have been married for 6 years, but together for a total of 12 because we dated for 6 years before we got married. I'm 31, be 32 this summer. And so in the last video while I was driving, I was sharing like everything that I've been feeling this year. And I feel like I've had so much change, so much loss, so much just like growth, difference in perspective. And I was just sharing my thoughts. And it's so funny how over the past like 12 years that Brady and I have been together, so many people have been like, you know, motherhood is like the most beautiful thing. It's incredible. Like you should never like, you know, say no to that. And I've always been like, I'm not saying no, I'm just saying this is how I feel right now. And I can't decide if I'm ever going to have the desire to have kids, if I'm going to want kids, like literally anything. And I'm just sharing how I feel right in this moment. And so in that last video, I was sharing how I was feeling in the moment, saying that I feel like my perspective on responsibility is so different now, because I used to see responsibility of like taking care of someone else as like a burden. And then I feel like I saw my mother taking care of my dad, taking care of my dog, taking care of those that I love who need it. And it has been an inconvenience at times, like my, you know, family members who have like mental health issues and things. Like, it does inconvenience my life, but it has made me just feel so grateful for those people that I have in my life, and that I have people to love and to care for. And now I feel like I view responsibility differently than I did. That was all that I was saying. I wasn't saying like anything else. And so many of you guys were like very, I don't know, perplexed by my like thoughts, I guess. And I guess it just goes to show that like you will never have everyone like agree with you, and you'll never have everyone just like think the same way that you do. But because someone thinks differently than you, it doesn't mean that like the way you think is bad. And there were so many people who were like, I live a beautiful life with no children. I 100,000,000,000,000,000,000% respect that. Like, if you have a beautiful life and you love it without kids, that's great. And I have a beautiful life and I don't have kids. Like, and I feel like, you know, I always want to be open about how I'm thinking and feeling, and like growing and learning and all the things. And with that comes people's perspectives. And again, like, it was so interesting because my entire life, so many people have been like, you should have kids. And then I feel like in the last video when I was like, you know what? I feel like my thoughts are shifting on like responsibility. And so many people are like, what are you thinking? Like, you know, you should like think deeply about this more. Like, you should think about this again. And like, I was like, whoa, hold up. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I've been with my husband for 12 years, and the fact that like we don't have kids means that we have thought deeply about what we want and don't want, like how our life, we want it to look. We are not people to jump into anything. We, especially him, but both of us like really think so deeply about things. So it was really interesting because all of the comments were pretty much like, yeah, that responsibility is very hard. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. That's literally what I'm saying. Like, I know that it's hard, but also that I see it as beautiful now versus seeing it as a, like, what's it called? A burden. That's all I was saying, but I don't know. I want to continue to like share how I feel and the way that I feel, in the moment. And, you know, those feelings could obviously change over time. You know, I think it's really cool whenever we can like have an open like conversation about just like our lives and like thoughts and things. But anyway, I'm gonna head into a coffee shop. We're gonna go in here and then we'll probably go and drop off these free little library books, and then maybe head over to the library. I literally forgot my library books that I planned on dropping off to get more. So I don't know if I'll get more, but I definitely want to browse to see what they have. I don't think I'll ever get over how good my library is. This book just came out in April, and it is June. This came out like April, like in the month or something, like very end, I think. And it's already here. This book looks so good. It says, when Maggie's best friend admits he's in love with her, she'll have to decide whether it's worth giving up something good for something that could be amazing in this laugh out loud friends to lovers rom-com. I actually bought this book from Barnes. I've never read anything from this author. This would have been a perfect book to get from the library because like I just have never read anything from her before. But I will say, anytime a Black author comes out with a book, if it looks good to me, I'm buying it. Like, I just love supporting Black authors because I do feel like they don't get necessarily as much hype as they deserve. So I am glad that I bought this, but I'm also glad this is in the library for someone to pick up. Another book that I think would be great to read from the library is The Fury. This is by the same author who wrote The Silent Patient, and I really love that story, but I could also see how some of his books might be a little bit slower paced in comparison to what I enjoy for a thriller. Again, I did love The Silent Patient. I feel like the ending was really good. I did love it, but I feel like if he doesn't write the exact same story that like hooks me in the same way, like I could see how it would be a little slow. So this would be a perfect library book. I don't want to get anything today because I already have 2 books out, but then part of me is like, should I get it because those other 2 books have to be returned pretty soon. I love how my library always has so many like new books or books that like are just coming out or like super hyped up. Like they just have such a great selection here. Lucy Score's books always have the best covers, but I always get so scared to bring them home. I am just so like freaking flabbergasted by how many like good new books that they have here. This book looks really cute. I feel like at the library there's something about getting a book that is just like a one I've never heard of that makes me excited to get it, whereas in Barnes it makes me not excited to get it. I think because of the library I can like bring it back if you want to. It says if at first you don't espouse, try again. This just looks like a really cute book. I've never read this book, but the cover is what pulled me in. It says 2 families, 2 hearts in the night that changed everything. It's called The Second First Chance by Mona Schroff. It says strength comes in many different forms. This looks like one of those heartfelt like family type books. I feel like I always get in the mood for these like whenever it's cozy season, like fall, not usually like summer, but I do really love the cover of this. I love the for sale section. They always have such good books here. Last time I came and Queenie was still here, so now I kind of want to buy it because it was still here last time and it's only $2. It's just so wild how many good books they have, and these are like popular books. It just makes me so happy that people have the opportunity to get like really good books for a really good price. Like these are only $3 for hardbacks, $2 for paperbacks, and $1 for pocket paperback. There's one book up here. It's like way up on the top of the shelf. It says The Last Breath by Kimberly Bell. I don't know what this is about, but it's by the author who wrote The Marriage Lie, which is actually on my TBR. And part of me wants to get this because it's only $2. And it says humanitarian aid worker Gia Andrews chases disaster around the globe for a living. It's the perfect lifestyle to keep her far away from her own personal ground zero. 16 years ago, Gia's father was in prison for brutally killing her stepmother. Now he's come home for his final days and she's responsible for his care and coming to terms with his guilt. As the past unveils before her, Gia finds herself torn between the stories that her family, their friends and neighbors, and even her long departed stepmother have believed to be real for all these years. But in the end, the truth and the lies that come before may have deadlier consequences than she could have ever anticipated. And this is it a movie? No, it's not a movie, but this looks so good. I love also finding thrillers I don't see a lot of people talk about or reading. Another one that's on here is The Switch by Sandra Brown. I actually own a book by this author as well, and I've heard that her writing is really good. This is a like suspenseful story about identical twins, Melina and Jillian Lloyd, who haven't considered switching places since childhood. So when Melina proposes that Jillian take her place as immediate escort to NASA astronaut Cole Hart, he's the chief, she refuses. At first, the following morning, Melina receives terrible news. Her sister has been brutally murdered, and Chief, though innocent, is the prime suspect. He and Melina are determined to find the killer. Wow, this looks so good. So good. And it said that they're out for blood and they won't stop with just Jillian. I don't normally read books this size. Like these are like the pocket paperbacks, but this is only $1. Like it's just so crazy to me, like in a good way. The first thing I see when I come in here is this book called Listen for the Lie, and one of my friends at the gym, she actually told me to read this. I think I've told you how like my friends at the gym are constantly giving like book recs to each other, and she said that this book is so good. Now, my first thought is to like look on Goodreads to like see what the rating is, because I just like, I don't know, it's just like a bad habit that I have. But I'm gonna buy this book, and I'm gonna buy this book not knowing like what anyone else thinks of it, and I'm literally gonna buy it because my friend at the gym said that it was good. Now, do I know what type of thriller recs that she normally gives? No, because she never gives them, or at least she hasn't to me. But she literally said this was good, and I put it in my Amazon book cart, and a lot of the time I'll put things in my Amazon book cart so I can buy them like either in an indie bookstore, or I can buy them in Barnes if they're available there. And I like to like look before I actually like just buy them. And this one looks really good. It says, what if you thought you murdered your best friend, if everyone else thought so too, and what if the truth doesn't matter? Lucy and Savvy were the golden girls of their small Texas town, pretty, smart, and enviable. Lucy married a dream guy with a big ring and an even bigger new home. Savvy was a social butterfly, loved by all, and if you believe the rumors, especially popular with the men in town. But after Lucy is found wandering the streets, covered in her best friend Savvy's blood, everyone thinks she is a murderer. It's been years since that horrible night, a night Lucy can't remember anything about, but she has since moved to LA and started a new life. But now the phenomenally huge hit true crime podcast Listen for the Lie and its too good looking host Ben Owens have decided to investigate Savvy's murder for the show's second season. Lucy is forced to return to the place she vowed to never set foot in again to solve her friend's murder, even if she is the one who did it. The truth is out there if you just listen. Now, this is actually kind of reminding me of, what is that book? It came out, I read it like a few months back. It's like about a podcaster, and she like talks about like a murder. I literally can't even remember the name. I feel like I should know, but it's reminding me of that. I actually didn't care for that book as much. I think it's by Lucy. What is her name? She writes like a ton of thrillers. She wrote Then She Was Gone. I think her name's Lucy something. I literally can't even remember. I'm thinking Lucy Score, and I know that's not her name because obviously that's a romance author. But the words in this look really easy, and I've told you guys that I really enjoy reading hardback books better than paperback books, so I think I'm going to bring this one home. I just need to know how Elsie Silver is coming out with so many books. Maybe this is like a like one of her older books with like a new cover. Maybe that's what it is. But I just need to know because the book Wild Love just came out and I don't even know where it is. I feel like it should be over here because didn't she write that? Is that her? Yeah. Oh, here it is. Wild Love. So many copies. This book just came out and she just announced on her Instagram that the second book in the series is coming out in September. Like, Miss, you just released this like a month ago. Like, give us some time. I literally cannot keep up with these authors. Like, I feel like they're writing way faster than they used to. There is one copy of Ricochet left. Literally one. I don't understand why there are like a million copies of Addicted to You, and there are also a million copies of Addicted for Now, which is the third book in the series. There's even still more that I didn't pick up. I can just only hold so many in one hand. And there is one copy, literally one copy of Ricochet. I don't know if it's because people start reading the series and they're like, oh my god, Addicted to You is pretty good, I should start the second one. Then they read the second one and they don't like it. But this was one of the things that I came in here for, that I wanted to pick up. Also the fact that I am literally seeing one of the books that I'm putting into a free library right here, it makes me feel so good that someone's going to be reading like a book that is actually in Barnes right now, and I'm going to put it into the free library for them to like gobble up. Now this is what I love to see. I feel like many times I will come in and there'll be a book by a black author, but there's only like one copy and like one and only one in the store, and it'll be like in one of these things, like in like shoved in the corner. I love seeing books by black authors front facing. It just makes me so happy because I feel like people pick up books based on the cover so much, and like this cover is such a cute one, and it's also a sapphic romance, which I feel like is perfect for just like the recs in here, because I feel like there aren't as many that are like front facing that you usually see. Thinking about doing a full video just on Colleen Hoover's books, because I don't know, I think I've told you guys this, but I read Hopeless for the very first time in 2013, like when it was an old cover with like people in the cover, and one of my friends, I let her read it after me. We were working as DSPs, helping families with neurodivergent children, and like whenever we would get done with work, we'd always just talk about books, and I passed this book on to her. She loved it so much. And then I also read Ugly Love during that same year, I'm pretty sure. I still own it, but I just generally don't even remember what this is about because it was so long ago. And then I feel like I was reintroduced to like books and stuff again by reading November 9th by Colleen Hoover, which I think is one of my favorite books by her. And then I also read Losing Hope because I wanted to like continue the series. This, I think it comes after Hopeless. It's from the guy's point of view. But I've been thinking about reading All of Your Perfects by her, which I think is the last book in the like Hopeless series. I read all, I I think I read 3 books. I actually think I read the last book before I read this one, which this one's supposed to come first. But I have the cover or the copy with people on the front, and I just kind of don't want to read that copy. I kind of want to read this copy. It's like so much prettier, so I'm thinking about buying that. But then it's like, is it too much to buy a whole new book just for the change of the cover? Like, I don't know. Someone comment below if it's too much to do that. And then I read It Starts With Us and It Ends With Us, and I think they're pretty much like, I don't want to say no books. Like, I haven't read Heart Bones. I haven't read Regretting You, which I've heard is one of her best books. It's like the most underrated. And then I haven't read the like Maybe Now series, which I think that this is the 3rd book, because I think that there's another one like that comes before this one, but I haven't read this one, which I don't think I'm gonna read it because it has a trope that I don't really enjoy. But I'm thinking about doing a whole video just like book recs from her, because hers are some of the books that have gotten me back into reading in 2013 and again in 2019, and I don't know, I feel like it would be fun to like reminisce with some of those books again to see like how I feel about the rest of the books in her little like collection. Looking at this book also makes me so excited for the movie that's coming out. There's one thing about me is I never watch like movies or shows unless they were books first, because I like either want to read the book or I've already read the book and I want to see like how it's adapted. Obviously I like read this book, and I've also read Daisy Jones and the Six, which is another like series that I still need to watch on like a show, Heartstopper, and there are so many other ones that I like have not watched yet, but that's the only thing that will get me to like watch a show, like literally the only thing. Like Bridgerton, when people were like, this is a book series, I was like, okay, I gotta watch the show, and like that's what got me to watch like the first series, and I feel like I do that all the time. Also, okay, this is like kind of off topic, but I'm looking at the book right now. So many people have said that this book is good. It's called Pack Up the Moon by Kristen Higgins. And I think one of you guys, you actually were sharing how like you don't normally cry like when you read books, kind of like Taylor. And I think like whenever we were talking, like having our little book chat, one of you guys were like, oh my God, I'm so much like Taylor. I don't really cry reading books. But I sobbed reading this book. So now I'm kind of like, I kind of want to read this. It says, every month, a letter. That's what Lauren decides to leave her husband when she finds out she's dying. Each month, she gives Josh a letter containing a task to help him face this first year without her, leading him on a heart-rending, beautiful, and often humorous journey to find happiness again in this new novel. Oh my God. It said Josh and Laura are the perfect couple, newly married, they're wildly in love, each on a successful and rewarding career path. Then Lauren is diagnosed with a terminal illness. It literally begins on February 14th. It says 8 days left. Dad, I'm dying. My husband is going to be a widower, and this has been the most wonderful year of my life. How's that for surprising? These past few weeks, months, I've been feeling things changing. Remember the time we all flew to California and drove home? I think I was 10. I remember being able to feel us getting close to the East Coast, all those miles behind us, home getting close, even when we still had hundreds of miles to go. You could feel it. You could tell you were getting close. That's where I am these days. Guys, I feel like this is gonna make me sob. Why do I kind of want to get it? Like, I feel like you're not a true book lover until you're like, I feel like this book is gonna like pull out every like sad, mad, angry emotion, and then you're like, I gotta buy it. I gotta read it. Like, I feel like that's why I want to bring this home. I always have to come in the young adult section, and this book cover is one of the cutest book covers I think I've ever seen. It's literally giving like just perfect romance vibes. Like, I mean, does not everyone dream of like this happening in a bookstore to them? Like, this looks so cute. This cover also looks super cute. It's called More Than Just a Pretty Face, and it says, everyone said he was hopeless, she knew he was more. Oh my gosh, how cute. I just live for a fluffy, cute romance. One of the workers here, who's literally so sweet, we talk so much, she was just telling me that this author is gonna be in to this Barnes & Noble in Springfield on July 12th, and I'm freaking out. Like, I feel like they like don't normally bring in like romance authors and stuff, and she's gonna be signing books, and I've heard from Sister Christy that this book is so good. Whenever I was in the Barnes & Noble in Fairview Heights, she actually recommended this book to me. She said, I don't know if she read it or if she just like heard that it was good, but she recommended this and I was like, you know what, anytime you recommend a book, I'm gonna read it. So I'm going to read like a smaller book by this author first before I dive into this one. So I'll show you guys the book that I picked up whenever I get in the car. But also she told me that she actually added more Magnolia Parks books in here because like I love it so much, and that's just so sweet of her. Don't normally bring books to free libraries that are already full. This one actually has like so many books in it already. I should have went to the other one that I normally go to, but I'm gonna add these in here, hopefully if they fit, because I thought it'd be nice because this is a Alzheimer's home, and you can see that a lot of people here probably like to read, considering how many well, maybe this is a bad sign that they don't like to read, I don't know, but I want to add books in here. Gotten almost all the books in here. This has been a tough task, believe it or not, to like even get these in here because there are so many. I think I filled it up. It looks like it will close. I'm not quite sure. I think it will, but I love seeing free libraries that are being utilized, so I'll come back probably in a few weeks just to see if people are taking books out of this one. It is time for the book haul, and I'm so excited because I got tons of good books. My mom is about to show up pretty soon, which is so exciting because I haven't seen her in 6 months. You guys know how close I am with her. She moved to the Summerlin area, and so now she's in warm Nevada, and I just like miss her so much. So I'm gonna give you guys this haul up until she gets here. I got so many books. I got a total of 5 books, which is wild because honestly I had tons of books that I got the other day in my last video, so if you missed that one, go back and watch. But I ended up getting Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is the book that I showed you guys inside of the bookstore. I also got Ricochet. I'm really excited to actually continue this series. I'm surprised by how excited I am like to continue it, but I am. They also put a little bookmark in there for me, so that'll be nice. I always end up using the Barnes bookmarks more than I use the ones that I actually like buy. I also got Pack Up the Moon. This is the book that I also showed you guys in there that is, I feel, gonna make me cry. I also picked up The Fire Between High and Low by Brittany Cherry. This is one of my favorite auto-buy authors. She's a Black author who writes such incredible stories. I read The Air He Breathes. I think it's actually on this shelf. Yeah, it's right here. And this is the first book in the series. Loved it so much, and I ended up just like feeling like that book is so similar to Archer's Voice. I also read The Mixtape by her, which I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. So you guys know I love her writing. I always have to read something of hers every month. This says, there was once a boy and I loved him. Logan and I were complete opposites. I danced and he stood still. He was quiet while I ran my mouth. That literally sounds so similar. He struggled to find a smile and I refused to frown. We were broken together yet somehow whole. We were wrong together but always right. We were the stars that burned across the night sky, searching for a wish, praying for better tomorrows. Until the day I lost him, until the day he threw us away with one hasty decision. A decision that changed us forever. There once was a boy and I loved him, and for a few breaths, a few whispers, a few moments, I think he loved me too. This looks so good. It says no soulmate leaves the world alone. They always take a piece of their other half with them. I cannot wait to read this, and this is actually a whole series, and I think her next book comes out in, I think, September. The books are already out, but they're re-releasing with new covers, and I've heard that the series gets better and better, which is wild because I love The Air He Breathes. Then I also picked up Bennett and Aubrey, and this says Fall in Love with Me Complete Collection by Willow Winters, and I told you guys that Willow Winters is gonna be in Barnes on July 12th, so I'm so excited. I feel like that'll be a really cool thing to see like a book signing in my town. I don't even know what this is about. The girl who's in there, she said that this is like a friends to lovers story, but that's really all I know. So, oh, it says she was always she was always head over heels for Bennett. She was the girl next door and he was very much off limits. Fate always comes around though, and it's time for their second chance. The Fall in Love Again series will feature Bennett and Bree falling in love on the small town fictional street of Cedar Lane over and over again, while the real world has had other plans for them. Because love is endless and this is what forever means. In any and every life, their love was meant to be, and there's so much to tell in the dreams where they get to meet again for the first time every night. I'm so excited to read this. Again, I've never read from this author, so it'll be really cool to like read from a new author. And I think her other book is like the most popular one, but it has like 5 books in it. And I just wasn't ready to like jump into a 600-page book, but this one looks cute. It's also supposed to be spicy, so we'll see how I feel about it. But yeah, this is really good haul, I think. I feel like all these books are very different. We have a new release, we have a popular book talk book, we have a book that's gonna make me cry, we have a book by a Black author, and we have a book by an author that isn't hyped up enough yet because she still, I think, is fairly like new on the scene, or if she's not, like people are kind of just getting into her books. And this is a spicy read. So I hope you guys enjoyed this bookish day. We went thrifting at the library for books. We got all the recs at the library. We dropped off some books into free little libraries. We also went to Barnes for a little book haul, and I feel like this was a really fun one. So comment below what books you guys are reading, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.